First of all, I would like to thank the Board of the International Research Awards on Sustainable Agriculture and Food Systems for allowing me to present this research on mercury risks and handling by Natalia Cadavid. The dramatic increase in the cost of gold over the last decade has triggered a rush by miners from various countries seeking economic livelihoods. This is due to the fact that illegal mining in Colombia has been consolidating as an economic activity of illegal groups, particularly in localities with vulnerable and marginalized communities, which have become the labor force of illicit economies such as informal mining, illicit crops, and timber extraction. In particular, illegal, informal, or ancestral mining has become a public health problem due to the chronic impacts of mercury use on human, animal, and environmental health. This research work seeks to intervene in some of the ancestral mining localities in the municipality of El Bagre, Antioquia, with processes of dissemination of the results of the study, social appropriation of prevention and mitigation measures from food that impact on the sustainability of the transforming effect of the intervention. As a result of the socialization of research results show us the study carried out by the development of the intervention activity Unilasallista research team evaluated the concentrations of mercury and methylmercury in the local foods that constitute the main diet of its rural communities, and also intervened by creating a neurocognitive profile in a sample of children and adolescents from 3 educational institutions in the municipality of El Bagre. The findings led to a latent exposure of mercury and methylmercury in both protein and carbohydrate diets, with fish and cassava having the highest concentrations above the OMS and FAO permissible values. Consequently, this first figure presents us with clear proof mercury concentrations in protein and carbohydrate matrices. In this figure number 1 of the risk map for the concentrations of mercury in observation foods, for the protein matrices, the fish that contributes the highest mean concentration weighs cereals with greater intensity. On the other hand, methylmercury concentrations in protein and carbohydrate matrices show us other exposure scenarios, geographic, with the village Los Aguacates and Luis Cano being the ones with the highest exposure to mercury, localities close to the urban area where communal planting actions have been carried out local. These sidewalks, as illustrated on the map, are located near the tributary of the Nechi River and are surrounded by coverage associated with topographic changes due to the mining activity. Another key point to take into account is environmental exposure to mercury and its link to the development of cognitive difficulties. Traditionally, Mercury, among its various uses, has been a key element in the extraction of gold. This has led to it being released into the atmosphere in the form of vapor and accumulating for a long time until it oxidizes and becomes methylmercury and is precipitated by rain, which causes it to penetrate at the level of terrestrial and aquatic surface waters. This whole cycle repeats itself to such an extent that both seafood and land food can begin to contain traces of this metal, which has been identified as toxic to human health. That is why mercury can be biotransformed mainly in humid and aquatic environments to form organic compounds such as methylmercury, a substance classified as the most dangerous form of mercury. Therefore, this compound can affect populations in different ways and present specific symptomatologies such as lack of coordination of movements, dysfunction of speech, hearing, and walking ability, muscle weakness, loss of peripheral vision, among other diseases. In order to minimize the impact of mercury on the health of the population, it is necessary to raise awareness of food as a preventive and therapeutic medicine in mercury intoxications. According to research, it has been determined that the intake of selenium present in some foods such as mushrooms, brown rice, eggs, whole wheat flour, lentils, salmon, among others, in amounts of 15 to 40 micrograms per day for children and adolescents, and 55 micrograms for adults over 19 years old per day, are the key to help the body to detoxify heavy metals such as mercury by neutralizing the toxic effects of it, as well as the consumption of vitamin A, vitamin E, and zinc present in other foods such as garlic, seaweed, cilantro, among others, as allies to counteract the harmful effects of mercury. Finally, some considerations and recommendations should be taken into account for the population and mercury handlers is to educate community members about the dangers of mercury, developing education and prevention days on mercury contamination, inform the authorities when cases of mercury intoxication are detected so that other people in the area are tested and the source of mercury contamination is discovered. Added to that, we must not forget, when the objective seems difficult, do not change the objective. Look for a new path to reach him. Confucio. Thank you very much.